Poets have never used the word balance, for a good reason. First of all, it is too obvious and therefore untrustworthy. It is also a deadly boring concept and seems to speak as much to being stuck and unmovable as much to harmony. There is also the sense of unbalancing that must take place in order to push a person into a new and larger set of circumstances. David White. Hello and welcome to our Yoga for Balancing series. This is Yoga with Melissa 357, how to do Warrior 3 pose, or how to get unbalanced in Warrior 3 pose. We're going to focus as much on unbalancing as we are on balancing in this series. So I have a quote, testimonial from Bene from our membership community. And this is from our last class on balancing, Yoga with Melissa 354. She says, "Thank you, Melissa, for this class. I don't have very much struggle with balance, but it was so interesting to focus on how many things are coming together so the body stays stable. There's a whole world here. You can feel so many muscles playing and working together during those poses. I did have some issues with my balance during the repetition between Tadasana, tree pose, and chair pose with my eyes closed. But so it was a really fun class, and I highly recommend you take a look at it. And thank you so much, Bene, for taking the time to leave your comments in the membership community. And thanks to all of you who take your time to leave your comments on YouTube, iTunes, Facebook, Instagram, and on my website and in our membership community. Thanks to Squeeze Yoga Clothing for my clothes. Today I'm wearing long brown leggings with a black vine on it, and I'm wearing a green long sleeve bamboo top with a tree of life on it. And thanks to Dusky Leaf for our props. Today you're going to need blocks and a bolster. Okay, we're going to begin with our peace mantra. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvina Vaditamasu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. That means protect us together, student and teacher. May our studies nourish us together. May we work together in the union for the good of all. May our learning be luminous and purposeful. May we live in harmony. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Okay. We're going to begin today with a guided relaxation, as we always do. So I'm going to get you to lie down on your backs. And actually, since we have it, I'm going to get you to use your bolster today underneath your knees. So lie down with the bolster underneath your knees so that there's a bend in your knee. This is helpful for any of you who have low back issues. And you can place your hands on your belly. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let it fall out of your mouth. And allow yourself to settle and relax into the ground. Feel yourself start to drop back into the earth underneath you. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your buttocks on the ground. Feel your shoulders on the ground. Feel your elbows on the ground. Feel your head on the ground. And allow the tension from the day or the night to start to sink heavy into the earth underneath you. So even though you're resting on the ground here in stillness, notice how much movement is happening here. Notice the tension that's unraveling from your body and being let go into the earth underneath you as gravity receives the weight of your body. So feel all the little bits of tension that starts to unravel, release and let go. Feel the breath movement waving through your body. So as you rest here, notice that there's movement even here in the stillness. Today's class is about balance. And balance is not about stillness or arriving at some point of equilibrium where there is no movement. So just as there is movement here as you rest back on the mat, there's much movement in balance. Notice how much movement there is even as you rest in your stillness here on the ground. Today, and hopefully always, when we practice balance, we are going to let go of being stuck and unmovable, as David White suggests. And we are going to practice being unbalanced and opening ourselves to larger possibilities. So reflect on what this means for you in your life. Maybe there's some area of your life where you feel stuck and immovable. Some place in your life where you need to become unbalanced in order to find balance. And begin to form an intention of what it is you would like to receive from your yoga today. What is it that you are trying to create, sustain, or let go of? And how could your practice help you to do that? Once you've formed your intention, you're going to put your bolster off to the side and lengthen your legs straight out in front of you. How do you like that lighting, Tim? One thing I know about Tim is he likes how the lighting changes a million times in a 2-hour shoot. Okay, what we're going to do here is you are going to just begin by engaging your vestibular system. So you're going to roll your head to the right. Inhale, center. And exhale, roll your head to the left. Breathe in center. Breathe out, roll your head to the right. Breathe in center. Breathe out, roll your head to the left. So I will say at the beginning of this class that we are going to be engaging your vestibular system, your proprioceptive system, and your vision system in a big way in this class. And particularly if you have any issues with your vestibular system, such as vertigo, particularly if it's a medically diagnosed issue with your vestibular system, you may want to talk to your doctor about this. We are about what is your threshold of ability to engage your vestibular system, because we are going to be moving your head a lot. So it's probably a good idea to have a discussion with your medical doctor about is it okay for me to move my head side to side, up and down? Is that going to aggravate my vestibular system? Is it going to make my vertigo better, worse? So have a conversation with your doctor about that before you come headlong into this class. When your head rotates in the direction and side to side or up and down, what happens is there are semicircular canals in your ears. The endolymphatic fluid within those canals lags behind because of the inertia, and it exerts pressure against the canal's sensory receptors. And when this happens, the receptor sends impulses to your brain about what kind of movement is happening. So that's what we're doing right now, is we're stimulating and sending messages to those semicircular canals. Okay, so what we're going to do now is engage your proprioceptive system as well. So proprioception, we'll go into it in more detail a little bit later, but it happens through your skin, through your joints, and the information travels up through your nervous system, through your brain. So one of the main sites of it would be through your feet and your ankles. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to just move your feet from side to side. And what we're going to do is we're going to do feet one side, head the other. So this actually is a little bit of brain jam for your brain, a little brain candy here as well. Proprioception, vestibular system, brain yoga, because what you're doing is a cross pattern as well. You're crossing the neural pathways of your body between the right and left hemisphere of your brain. So this is also another really beneficial thing for you to do, which will help to improve your balance as well. Keep breathing. So right now, all the skin on the bottom of your heels is picking up proprioceptive information, but also there's proprioceptive information being picked up through your ankles, through your knee joints, through your hip joints. Back of your head, neck. Okay, and then we're going to roll over onto our stomachs. Okay, so on your stomach, we're going to do a little bit of locust pose. So as you learned in Yoga with Melissa 354, your balance relies on your vision, your proprioception, and your vestibular system. Your body takes in these signals from your vision, your proprioception in your vestibular system through nerve impulses, through special nerve endings called sensory receptors, and sends signals to your brain. So that's actually how balance happens. So what we're going to do here is we're going to continue with your vestibular system, and also a lot of your proprioceptive system is being stimulated here as well. As you're on the ground, your skin's taking in information all along the front of your body with locust pose. So let's do a little bit of locust pose with our hands down by the side of our body, and then we'll prepare our body a little bit more for warrior 3 with our arms in front of us as well. So what I wanted you to do first was just a little bit of inhale, lifting up, and then look up and forward, and then look down and lower down. Okay, so a little bit of head nods for the heads. So inhale, look up, and then look up with your head. So here you're stimulating your vestibular system. Tuck your chin and lower down. Inhale, lift your chest off the ground. Look up. Exhale, tuck your chin and lower down. Okay. Inhale, lift your chest off the ground. Look up. Exhale, tuck your chin and lower down. Inhale, lift your chest up off the ground. Look up. Exhale, tuck your chin. Lower down. We're going to do one more like this. Inhale, lift your chest off the ground. Look up. Tuck your chin. Lower down. And then what we're going to do is take your arms forward. You're going to take a deep breath in. And you're going to inhale, lift your chest off the ground. So you're preparing your body for warrior 3. Strengthening your back body. And then slowly lowering down. And then we're going to push up onto all fours. Okay, from all fours, we're going to come into cat pose. So let's just do a little bit of rounding and arching just to release your spine a little bit after that locust pose. So you're going to exhale, round up through your back. And then you're going to inhale, arch through your back. If you have any issues with your wrists, you can always come onto fists here. Exhale, round through your back. And inhale, arch through your back. Okay, from here we're going to challenge your proprioception a little bit by changing the information that's coming up through your joints, through your wrists, through your elbows, through your shoulders, through your knees, through your hips. We're going to take opposite arm and opposite leg, and then we're going to unsteady that. So you're going to start to move around here. Move around, move forward and back, move side to side, so that you're challenging your proprioception. And then bring your opposite elbow and knee in and move around again. And then take it back out and lower down. Okay, so let's try that on the other side. So this time you'll take your left arm and right leg out, or just the other side, because I don't think I told you what side to do last time. So here you take your opposite arm and leg out, and then you challenge your proprioceptive by moving around. So you're changing the information that's coming up through all the joints of the fingers, your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders, your knees, your hips. Can even start to lean forward and back like a teeter-totter a bit. That changes the information that's traveling through your joints. Even rotate. Rotate around your hip and shoulder joint. This is all good information to vary it up. So you're going to draw your elbow, opposite elbow to knee, and see how many different ways you can vary the information here. So when David White says that balance is boring, this is what he means. It's like, okay, we're not going to come here and just hold. Like, okay, great. I know this is challenging for a lot of people, but many people could come here and hold this till the cows come home, which might be very soon here. But let's stop showing off and actually start challenging ourselves. Okay, let's actually start doing something that matters. Okay, and if you really think you're doing this and you're really great, close your eyes. See what happens when you close your eyes and you turn off the visions stimulus that's coming in. Okay, let's try this with on your forearms. Let's do some cat pose on your forearms. So again, you've changed the proprioceptive information that's coming in. Instead of being on your hands, you're on your forearms now. And now let's try opposite arm and opposite leg again. And let's try the teeter-totter here and see what happens there. Let's try the rotation. Let's try leaning and circling. Try elbow to knee. And then let's try it on the other side. So on your forearm, opposite arm, opposite leg. Teeter-totter. Leaning, rotating, opposite elbow to knee, moving. Good. So you might want to come into child's pose here. Through the repetition of the sensory receptors to our brain stems and then the resultant path back through your body, you form a new neural pathway called facilitation. With this synaptic reorganization, you're able to come into balance during your activities. This kind of synaptic reorganization occurs through your life as you adjust to changing motion environments. The more repetition, so notice we did a lot of repetition in what we just did, the easier it becomes for your sensory receptors to travel their pathways to your brain and back through your body. The neural pathways become more easy to travel. This is great news because it means that balance is something that we can practice and become better at with repetition. So this is great news. Okay, we're going to do gate pose now. Okay, so for gate pose, come to the right side of your mat. Take your left leg out long. And you're going to inhale, take your arms straight up. Exhale, side bend over your left leg. Open up the left side of your body. Okay, here let's engage our vestibular system by turning down towards your left leg and then turning your head up towards the sky. So notice that this might make you a little dizzy. It might make you feel a little unbalanced. as your semicircular canals adjust to the fluid balance, as it just adjusts as it rolls back and forth in your head. So your vestibular system is your inner ear, and it's your inner ear senses information about motion, equilibrium, and spatial orientation. This information is collected by your inner ear by the utricle, the saccule, and 3 semicircular canals. Your utricle and your saccule detect gravity, that is information in a linear orientation, as well as linear movement, and your semicircular canals detect rotational movement. Okay, so what we're going to do now is you're going to come upright and you're going to actually lower your right hand to the ground and lift your left leg up and your left arm up. And you're going to stimulate your vestibular system, your proprioceptive system, just by moving this leg around. So actually just make yourself unstable by moving around a bit, by leaning forward and back, moving around. So don't be boring, like David White says. Lean forward and back. Allow yourself to be unbalanced here. Don't try to be perfect. Okay? This is not an aesthetic practice. We're not taking pictures for Instagram here. We're practicing balance. This might not look pretty. This is not going to look pretty. Did you just take your phone out to take a picture? Stop that. Okay, come on over to the other side. I thought you were gonna look at your Instagram. Okay, let's go over to the other side and do this on the other side. Okay, so let's come here and side bend here. The other side. That was like the worst instruction ever. How about we give some instructions there? So now your right leg is out to the side. You're going to inhale, reach up. Side bend over your right leg. Open up your left shoulder. And we're going to look down. Rotate your head up towards the sky again. You're going to rotate down and rotate your head up towards the sky. So what happens is, as we age, we stimulate our vestibular system less and less. We mostly keep our body in an upright position. We don't jump up and down on trampolines anymore. We don't do cartwheels. We don't hang up upside down on the monkey bars. We don't do somersaults anymore. And all these movements, they focused on inversions, rapid changes in direction, and they all enhanced our vestibular system. Worse than that, we have things in our lives that make it so that our heads don't move anymore. We have rear-facing cameras in our cars. We have things that we don't even have to move our heads around anymore. So this is all very bad news for our vestibular system, and this is why we lose our balance as we age. It's not that we lose our balance as we age, it's that we stop moving our vestibular system as we age. That's what happens. Okay, so let's come back up here, and then you're going to take your left hand down to the ground, your right arm up, lift your long leg. You're going to keep your arm straight. I'm keeping my hand in the shot. And then we're going to move, make the joints pliable, so that you're moving through your joints. You're challenging your proprioceptive system. You can lift your leg up and down, move your hip joint, move your knee joint, move your shoulder joint. Move in this position, unbalance yourself. You're going to be like an amoeba. Okay. And then once you've challenged yourself, made things risky, been unbalanced, we're going to come up to standing. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do here is continue to bring you to an edge with balance. You're going to stand at the top of your mat. You're going to take a big step back with your right foot, and you're going to turn your hips to the front edge of your mat. If this torques your knee, you're going to come up onto your back foot. Don't get too attached to that back foot being on the ground anyway, like the whole foot or the toes, because you're going to be lifting it off the ground. Bring your arms up. And then in Warrior One, what would it be like to unbalance this pose? So the way we're going to do that actually might help you to shorten your stance a little bit. It's just to lift that back leg off slightly and then see what it's like to unbalance Warrior One. Okay, so to unbalance Warrior One, you're moving your back leg around. You could even bring it forward, but I think keep it mostly behind you. Kind of swing it around behind you. Don't be attached to staying balanced. The less attached you can be to staying balanced. Let this be exciting. Fall over. Okay? And while you're doing that, you keep doing it. I'm going to tell you about what proprioception is. I can do it with my... Here you go. Proprioception is defined as the unconscious perception of movement and spatial orientation arising from stimuli within the body itself. We receive proprioception input from our skin, muscles, joints, and sensory receptors that are sensitive to movement and pressure in our connective tissue. Proprioception is sensed by your entire nervous system. Inside each muscle and joint, you have tiny meters called muscle spindles and Golgi tendons that are constantly measuring the amount of tension and degree of contraction that are happening. This information travels up your spinal cord, through your spinal cerebellar tract, and makes its way to your cerebellum. Your cerebellum accepts the information from your skin, muscles, and joints throughout your whole body and calculates where your body should be in space. Okay, let's do this on the other side. So this time you stand on your right foot, take a big step back with your left, bring your arms up. Okay. Remember, we're not going to be too attached to your back leg at all, because guess what you're going to do? You're going to unbalance your Warrior One. You're going to lift that leg off the ground, and not only that, you're going to move it around to challenge your proprioceptive system, and so that you're sending a lot of information up to that cerebellum. So we challenge, and actually what I just did, that even just touching down to the ground is a good idea. We challenge our proprioceptive system all the time as yogis. When we take our socks and shoes off and practice barefoot, we experience maximum input through our feet from the ground. As we move around in different yoga postures, our nervous system and our brain responds to this proprioceptive input from the ground, your joints, muscles, and position in space. Okay, good. And you get bonus points if you do this on an uneven ground outside. Okay, extra bonus points, because that's more proprioceptive information coming up through your joints than it is if you do it on a flat surface inside. Okay, let's move on. You're going to need your blocks now. Take your blocks at the front of your mat, And we're going to do a modified version of Warrior 3. And what you're going to do is you're just going to tip your right leg behind you, roll over your left leg bone, put your hands on the blocks. So we're going to talk a little bit about how your visual system plays into balance. You have sensory receptors in your retina called rods and cones. When light strikes the rods and cones of your retina, the rods and cones send impulses to your brain that provide visual cues that tell your brain how you are oriented in space relative to the objects around you. Okay, so test this out right now and close your eyes and just notice how your balance becomes less secure. Okay, and then we'll switch legs. We're going to come up to standing and do the other side. Sorry if this is a little disjointed. We had a long break for air traffic and neither one of us can really quite remember where we were. But we do know we need to change sides, so we can't go wrong with that. So let's do Warrior 3 on the other side with the blocks, and we'll try that with the eyes closed again. So you're going to take your hands on the blocks, lift your left leg behind you as you roll over your right leg bone, and close your eyes. And just notice when you close your eyes that those rods and cones aren't getting the information to the brain that they need, and that things just become a little less stable. Feel how much movement there is in balance. Okay, and then release that down. Put your blocks off to the side. We're going to come up to standing, and we're going to do our pièce de résistance. We're going to do Warrior 3. We're going to unbalance our Warrior 3. So, as I said, this isn't about taking the perfect symmetrical picture of Warrior 3 with right angles. This is about challenging our vestibular system, challenging our proprioceptive systems, and unbalancing our pose. So it's about practicing balance here, and that's what we're going to do. So you're going to take your arms straight overhead. You're going to roll over your right leg bone this time. Tip forward. So you could use a wall or a chair for balance if you need that. And then what we're going to do is you're going to reach down to the ground with your right hand and up. And then you're going to reach down to the ground with your left hand and up. And you're going to go side to side. So unbalance your Warrior 3. And falling over is allowed. Like, that's exciting. Great, I lost my balance. Now I have to practice again. And each time I lose my balance, then I get the chance to lay new neural pathways. I'm going to reach down with my right hand again. And then I'm going to reach over with my left hand. And right. And I'm going to cross over with my left. And so where I was standing, I was on a big mound. I thought that was making it more challenging, but apparently this is just challenging. Okay, good. So then let's do this on your other leg. So come into Warrior 3 on your other side. And actually, don't worry, this class has like a downslope. This is the peak, and then you're going to get to relax a little bit. It's not like all the way through. Okay, so you're going to tip forward into Warrior 3 over your left leg. And then we're going to do that crossover pattern again. So you reach across with your right hand, and then you're going to reach across with your left hand. You're going to reach across with your right hand. You're going to reach across with your left hand. And we'll do one more on each side. Okay. Good. So when you're not perfect at something, it's good because you have somewhere to go. You have somewhere to keep practicing. It's good. All right. From here, we're going to do legs up the wall and give your nervous system a chance to integrate. So I don't have any walls here, which is fine because I'll show you how to do legs up the wall, and then I'll give you a modification if you have blocks. So the way you do legs up the wall is you get your wall and you put your hips right up against the wall, and then you swing around and bring your legs up the wall. If you have back issues, you don't want to have a straight-legged forward fold, so you're going to do legs up a chair with your knees bent. And if you don't have a wall like me, you're going to use one of your blocks, put them under your pelvis, and then your legs will somewhat float in the air like this. And we're just going to hang out here, upside down, and be in the inversion and just allow our body to integrate a little bit. And I'm going to just tell you a little bit about balance while we do that. When your balance system is working well, you will be able to see clearly, move well, identify your orientation in relation to gravity, determine your direction and speed of movement, and make postural adjustments to maintain your position and stability in various conditions and activities. Great. Then you're going to bend your knees, roll to your side, and slowly make your way back up to seated. Sit with your legs out in front of you. Bend your right leg in, cross it over your left leg, and then bring your left heel up to your right buttocks. And if your belly gets in the way, you can come into the open twist here, or you can turn towards your bent leg and twist towards your bent leg. Choose whatever works best for you today. And then come back to the center. And we'll do this on the other side. So put your legs straight out in front of you again. This time you'll bend your left leg in, cross it over your right leg, bring your right heel up to your left buttocks, and you can do the open twist to make space for your belly, or you can turn towards your bent legs and wrap your arm around it. Whatever works best for your body today. Okay, and then come back to the center. And you're going to take your bolster underneath your knees. And actually, if you have a folded blanket, you can fold it and stick it underneath your hips so it's easier for your pelvis to roll over your leg bones. And then just a nice, easy seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. This, again, is just to calm your nervous system. So it's not about how far you get in the pose. This is a pose. This is a practice about feeling it, not about what it looks like. And as I said, the intention behind this pose is to calm your nervous system, not to get a great Instagram picture. So that's what we're doing here, calming our nervous system. We're not putting our hamstrings into a life-threatening situation here. And then you can come up slowly, and you can keep that bolster underneath your knees and lie down on your back for Shavasana with the bolster underneath your knees. You can turn your palms up beside you or place them on your belly. Okay, so you can stay resting back in Shavasana to receive your practice. I'm going to sit up now at this point in Shavasana and read you a poem. Actually, it's not really a poem, it's just an excerpt from David Whyte, and a little bit more David Whyte here. Desire demands only a constant attention to the unknown gravitational field which surrounds us and from which we can recharge ourselves every moment, as if breathing from the atmosphere of possibility itself. This is the part that I felt spoke to our class on unbalancing. A life's work is not a series of stepping stones onto which we can calmly place our feet, but more like an ocean crossing where there is no path, only a heading, a direction, which of itself is in conversation with the elements. A life's work is not a series of stepping stones onto which we calmly place our feet, but more like an ocean crossing where there is no path, only a heading, a direction, which of itself is a conversation with the elements. It's a quote by David Whyte. Okay, so I'm going to get you to wiggle your fingers and toes, roll to your right side, and slowly make your way up to seated for our mudra. So we're going to sit with the Mudgara mudra. For the Mudgara mudra, you take your left palm under the right side of your chest. You form a fist with your right hand and you rest your right elbow in the palm of your left hand. You keep your right forearm vertical. So this mudra increases courage, virtue, loyalty, and it stimulates your immune system. It stimulates the body's self-healing power, and it facilitates the healing of major diseases such as cancer. So I chose it because I felt that it takes a lot of courage to be messy. And balance is messy. It's not clean, it's not perfect, and it asks you to be imperfect. That's funny. Okay, I'm gonna change my sitting position. I'm gonna kneel on a block for this. We're gonna sit silently with this for a few moments. So we'll shift from this mudra into our closing mudra. Left palm up, right palm down, making space with breath and a sigh. Gathering in the fruits of our practice first to ourselves and then offering them out into the world. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. If you liked today's show, then please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to our channel, we put out a new show every single Friday, so subscribe to our feed and you will see it showing up in your feed every single Friday. If you know somebody who would enjoy today's show, then feel free to share it with them. Thank you for your donations, Karen, Adriana, and Viola. I appreciate your support so very much. If you are receiving value from the Yoga with Melissa classes, you can also make a monetary donation right here. And if you would like to give to Yoga with Melissa, you can also give of your time and your influence by answering the following question. What balancing poses do you find the most challenging and why? So today's class was built around Warrior 3. A lot of people requested Warrior 3 in the comments of Yoga with Melissa 354. So based on that contribution in the comments, I chose that. So as I said, I am planning on doing a whole series on balance. I'm thinking actually of running 2 series consecutively. I've never done that before. I know, mind-blowing. Actually, see, I'm taking something from David White. It's like taking a walk on the wild side. Because I feel like the balance series, it just takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy in terms of the class planning, but also it takes a lot in your brain. It takes a lot. It's just, I mean, you're laying down major neural pathways. You're using your proprioceptive system. You're using your vestibular system. You're using your body. I feel like if we did that week after week after week for 10 weeks, it would just be exhausting for all levels of our being. And I have this other idea for a series right now that I'm quite fired up about as well, called Moving at the Speed of Your Body. And so I'm kind of fired up about both of these things, and I like the idea of kind of going back and forth between the two. It's like, what would happen if you were going to 2 of my classes a week? I'm not offering to put out 2 classes a week, by the way. It takes me way too long to plan a class and put out a class. That's not happening. But I thought we could maybe run 2 series consecutively, and one would be more yang like this, and one would be more yin, like moving at the speed of your body. So, leave it in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. We've never done that before. Could be an idea. Also, if you would like to receive a beautiful infographic that we just had designed for this series on how to stimulate your vestibular system off the mat, I have several tips on how you can my off the mat strategies for a healthy vestibular system. Some really good things in there, and it's all put in a beautiful infographic. Those like Pinterest kind of infographics that you can get? It looks really good with all the icons and everything. If you'd like that, we'd be happy to send it to you. You just have to go to melissawest.com/ what number are we on here? 357. Scroll all the way down. There's like this big opt-in box. Put your email address in there. We'd be happy to send it to you. Today we focused on balance. If you would like the support of myself in a short 30-minute class on brain yoga for standing balancing postures, then I have a class in our membership community for that. This is one that a lot of our members put into their regular rotation. They do it like once a week, and they've noticed improvement on their balance. I know one of my members, Beverly, has it in her rotation once a week, and she's noticed incredible improvement on her balance. So I'll put that link in the show notes for our members. And if you're not already a member, you can click here to become a member. You'll get the support of like-minded people from all around the world. We support each other in a forum. We have live classes every week. We have retreats once a month. And it's a great way to connect with me more, our leadership team, and amazing yogis from all around the world. I'm sending you much love from beautiful British Columbia. May your joy be as deep as our Pacific Ocean. May you be as strong as our mountains, and may you be as rooted as the trees in our forest. Om Shanti. Namaste.
Melissa would love to hear your questions and thoughts. Please leave your comments below the video. Thank you for your reviews on iTunes and YouTube. Your reviews help us to share yoga and a yoga lifestyle with others around the world. If you have a question for Melissa, you can leave a voice message at melissawest.com, and Melissa may answer it in an upcoming blog.